Darren, I'm from Movie Reviews 101, and today we're going to talk about Darkest Hour, directed by Joe Wright and starring Gary Oldman, Kristen Scott Thomas, and Ben Mendelsohn. The story here follows the newly appointed Prime Minister Winston Churchill as he takes over in the country's time of need. With the impending invasion of the Nazis from mainland Europe, we follow the 2 weeks leading up to the Dunkirk event, and where Churchill must learn to unite the nation and overcome his enemies within the Houses of Parliament, Lords, etc. And this just, as we've seen Dunkirk this year, this helps a lot because we know the scale of that event now. It was the attempt to try and save 300,000 British soldiers trapped on the beaches of Dunkirk in France, and having to get the civilians to take their boats over to save them or to bring them home. And this is where the idea is how Churchill brought this together, and it's considered one of the biggest turning points in World War II, as the Germans would have wiped out most of the British soldiers if they had killed them all on Dunkirk. We go into our thumbs up. We have to just say Gary Oldman, he's just generally a thumbs up. You come up to the Oscars this year and you're going to have a Best Actors category. You don't need one, just give the guy the Oscar. He is fantastic. You don't even recognise he is Gary Oldman for 2 hours. That is how you could become one of the best actors in the world. Number 2 is learning more about the Churchill story. We know how he was the big influence on the British for World War II, but seeing this 2-week period, we see how much pressure was put onto him when nobody wanted him to be leader. This is interesting, good history lesson, and something everybody in the world should see from an inspirational leader that he became. And for me, I picked my favourite scene for a final one, and that is when Churchill gets a royal visit. I'm not going to say what happens, but once you've seen the movie you'll understand, because that, for me, is the most important scene of the movie. I'll get into some others in the thumbs down moments, because yes, the trailers have given away 2 of the biggest speeches. This is a huge problem because they are such an impactful moment in the movie, and I just feel it's taken everything away from the impact of those movies at that moment. So yeah, that's a down. Another down is not learning what Halifax's motivations were. Now, in the early part of the movie, Chamberlain resigns, and they're all like, yeah, Halifax will take over. Like, yeah, Halifax, nah. But he still wants to play this pawn in this game to become Prime Minister, and I'm thinking, what was his part in this? Why didn't he just take it? Why? There was a lot of whys around him, I wanted to know. And the final down part is they have a lot of these moments where we have different characters just looking up. So we go through buildings to the sky, to the planes going overhead. And it happens quite a lot. Okay, once it's fine, it just seems weird in this movie. I don't know. I know it's trying to show the scale of the situation, I feel, but because a lot of the scenes are quite constructed, compact, like squares and rectangles. But then this just like opens everything up. Okay, I like it. It makes sense, but it's weird. But anyway, overall, this is brilliant, wonderful, brilliant, masterful performances from Gary Oldman. Yeah, we'll say he has more than one. I'm going to give this a 5. I don't care, it's getting a 5. Simple as that. Let me know what you think of Darkest Hour and whether you've seen it. I've been Darren. I'd like to thank you for watching the video, and we'll be back with the next movie soon.